onto Windows, Mac.
Right.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So I'd say look for those tools. If you need help on finding a specific tool for a specific task, do not hesitate to ask.
Very cool.
But yeah, the tool I would say to look at is go to pendrivelinux.com. They have multiple tutorials on telling you how to put different OSs on thumb drives, which would be what your iPod is. And the keyword you're looking for is a persistent environment.
And they have them for iPod.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, if you put the iPod in, it mounts as a USB drive, right? The old ones?
Yeah, I think so.
Then yeah, that's all you need.
Huh. Very cool. And thank you for that description of us. That was probably one of the best descriptions of me and Dor that I've ever heard. Thank you, Carlos. All right. Sam says, hey, Steve and Dor, I've been using Ubuntu 11.10 for a while now, and yesterday I installed the GNOME 3, I think, desktop environment. I love it so much more than Unity. I just wanted to share some tips with you. 1, my cursor kept on sticking on the screen and not responding to the touchpad. I found that logging out and then back in fixed it in the end. Anyway, my first tip is to enable the mouse keys option in the universal access drop-down list located in the bar along the top of the screen alongside the volume control. This lets you move and click the cursor with the number keys on your keyboard if you have them, even if it doesn't respond to the touchpad or the mouse. Number 2, I had a problem with my desktop where when I logged into a user-defined session, there was absolutely no desktop features, Unity or GNOME. All there was the desktop background and my icons. The other 2 tips are these commands. Unity-2D-launcher. This command starts the Unity-style sidebar that Dor dislikes, and GNOME-panel. This command starts the GNOME-style overhead bar with the date and time in the middle. These commands really helped me get back in control of my system, whereas before I was powerless. I only managed to open the terminal to run the aforementioned commands with the key combo Control-Alt-T. Thanks for all the casts. Keep them coming. And I'm loving your laptop repair videos and Linux in general. From Sam. Thanks a lot, Sam. Much appreciated. Cool. And his website is sam@c.blogspot.com. sam-at-c.blogspot.com. What do you have to say about this one, Dor?
Dude, the mouse keys, I forgot about them. I used to use them back in the day because, I would have a mouse that it would go up correctly because it had the ball in it. And it's basically you hit numlock, turn that off, and then the number keys would turn into directions for the mouse to go.
I see. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And Control-Alt-T works in a lot of different desktops to pull up a terminal. It's my most used hotkey.
Really?
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you, Sam.
Absolutely.
It's from Jonathan Nato. With regards to UEFI is not the thing that is bad. UEFI is good. But the bad thing is secure boot. That is what to watch out for. Microsoft has said that anything, in caps, running an ARM CPU must, in caps, have secure boot enabled if they want to run Windows 8 on it. Thanks for the show, guys. Keep it up. And that's from Jonathan Nadeau from frostbitemedia.org.
Very cool.
UEFI, we haven't talked about that in a while.
Yeah, I know. And I really don't want to disagree with them. But I'll say this. Linus says secure boot is a good thing. I want to be able to say, I want to securely be sure my computer is booting up to what I want it to boot up to. Secure boot by itself isn't a bad thing.
Right.
What the Microsoft plans on making it do, or what people say they're planning to do, it's kind of unclear, is bad. Ultra bad.
I mean, making it only run Windows 8.
Well, yeah. Now on desktops, they've kind of pulled it back, where it's going to more than likely be enableable or disableable. And on ARM devices, they said nothing else will be able to boot. But it's one of those things, I don't know if someone who said it was actually somebody at Power, or it was just some crony at Microsoft, or what.
Just yapping his trap.
Yeah, so I do legitimately worry about that. but it's not going to be the end of the world. But if it does happen, it's sure in the hell ain't good.
Right. I agree. All right. Well, thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Dor. Let's play a voicemail here. What do you say?
Sure.
Hi, this is Karim Nalani again. So the second thing that I wanted to talk about was Steve McLaughlin had asked about ideas, how people would use or how he could use the Raspberry Pi. I know how I am going to try to use. I have a M Audio 4090 MIDI interface. I'm going to try and find a lightweight, real-time Linux distribution that would be that I would then install on the Raspberry Pi. Put software like Jack and FSynth, load some sound fonts, and have it as a sort of plug it up with speakers. And because the MIDI interface doesn't, it requires you to connect to a computer to generate sound. So this would be my dedicated sound box for my MIDI interface. All right, you guys have a great show. I'll keep listening. Bye.
I'm not sure if we played that before. I think there was either that we played that one, or it was a very similar one where they wanted to install the Raspberry Pi in the MIDI controller. But Rateo actually emailed me about this, and I think that the Raspberry Pi may not be capable of producing enough layered sounds if you want to actually make some synth sounds with the things, and the latency is probably not going to be good. But I would give it a try. I mean, I would definitely give it a try. Why not? I mean, it doesn't take much to make some simple synth sounds, and MIDI is such a lightweight protocol that I think it should be able to handle something. We'll see how that goes. You got anything on this one, Dor?
Yes, after I hit unmute. He did send us an email, and the gist of it was the MIDI keyboards back in the day had virtually no OS. It was all in firmware. So you didn't need a lot of overhead. Now with MIDI, on the fly, it does recalculation of sound samples for pitch. I don't know what else. But on the Raspberry Pi, I would think you would need something like bare metal, like super ultra light. And then you could do some kind of MIDI, but he was mentioning to me on the side about the lag. And that's where he said on a device not hardware optimized, you might see non-good stuff.
Yeah, there might be a lag, but it also depends on the synth. I mean, if the synth is very lightweight, like the software is very lightweight, it makes simple little ding-dong sounds, then it might be able to produce those sounds at a faster rate than something that's trying to layer like 20 oscillating synth sounds on top of each other. So yeah, that remains to be seen. I'm curious about that too, because that would make a neat little sound creation device. I mean,
yeah, I would love to see somebody try.
Yeah, so hopefully he will. All right, next one.
Hi, this is Ken Fallon again. Just wanted to wrap up HPR. Only a small component of that is code. The vast majority of it is releasing of the tutorials and that sort of work under the Creative Commons license. So you are absolutely contributing, and anybody who says that they're not are talking through there. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to me. Yes, again, my name is Ken Fallon. So you can contact me at ken.fallon@gmail.com. Okay, thank you guys. Really appreciate the show. Keep up the good work. Bye.
That was the second Ken message from last week. Is that right?
Yes.
All right. So listen to last week's show to hear the first Ken message.
Right. Where it was basically Mr. Gadgets was distraught because he was someplace and a guy said the 4 freedoms only relate to creating code. And he was like, well, I can't create code. So I feel like I'm stealing.
Right.
And everybody with common sense are coming out and saying that guy was completely full of crap.
Right.
Yeah.
Did we play the full Ken Fallon message the first show? Did we play it in its entirety?
Did. Okay. And he got cut off.
Okay. All right. Should we play it again or no?
I would say to listeners, if you want to listen to it, the last episode, 8 minutes from the end.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Ken.
Yeah, Ken is the man. I
Fully,
cannot salute him enough.
we fully appreciate the input. Let's do a couple more. Why not? 2 more minutes here. This is from. Who is this from? Ron. Looks like Ron. Okay. Steve, been catching up and listening to a podcast from July of 2010. Wow. Where you mentioned something called Reconstructor. I'm interested in trying to make my own ISO image file, so I went to reconstructor.apphosted.com. Mind you, I was on a Windows computer, and when I click on the links there, the browser warns me it is an untrusted site with an unverified certificate. Can you advise me? Ron. You remember talking about Reconstructor Door?
Oh man, it was a while ago.
It's legit, that site, right? I'll try it. I'll try it on Linux box to see what happens.
Oh, you're gonna get the same error. Here's the gimmick.
I'm gonna get a what? It came up.
You should, if you go to the HTTPS site, you should get a certificate error.
I didn't get one on my Linux machine. That must not be a good thing.
Well, it might be that they support. You did it. Oh, I didn't get it either. Well, here's the gimmick. Any site that doesn't ask you for money, and they do have a HTTPS connection, there's 2 things HTTPS connections can offer you. One is all authentication. I am who I say I am. You are who you say you are. And then the second is in encryption, so people cannot snoop on the traffic.